of my nonfiction catch-up videos, we have a read that was very tough. Not because the subject matter wasn't interesting, this is engrossing. It mixes both history and pop culture to explain that maybe everything is fascism in a way that's truly horrifying. I also have a feeling that recommending this book is also going to be very tough because there's a lot of keywords that are going to be associated with it that would definitely get this video flagged. When it comes to nonfiction, I'm a huge music fan, so I have countless other videos I feel like on this account that is recommending tons of bands that ended up being talked about in here. Ouch. This Ain't Rock and Roll is the type of read in which basically never learn about your idols because they are extremely flawed and ignorant. This is a book that was published in the last couple years, and I believe that the author is British, mainly because the timeline and the focus is going to be on British bands. This is going to start with rock and roll right after World War II and how quickly fascism made its way into the music scene. At times, it can kind of feel a bit repetitive, but that's only because there are certain symbols and figures within World War II that was fetishized and idolized by other groups. What I think the author did was an amazing job of trying to follow a timeline of when music was being produced and matching it up to education practices that might explain why things played out the way that they did. Sadly, a lot of my favorite bands make a mention in here. Gross. But what's surprising is that because this was published in 2026, you may think, oh, that was all in the past, is that there's some recent acts that I love that also make their way into these pages. And you would be like, didn't they know any better? And what's disheartening is to find out that most of the time they really didn't. From the Rolling Stones to David Bowie to so much of punk, and a surprising amount of new wave like Spandau Ballet. You'll see a lot of bands mentioned in here and how those artistic influences may have been not enough to excuse bad behavior. Basically, this is a type of uncomfy nonfiction read that I think would still have mass appeal, even considering its sensational title. It does a good job of blending history, pop culture, and music in a way that is understandable and could be applied to the things that we see around us today.